All right, we're rolling. It is after school on a Tuesday.
This was a bad idea on your behalf.
It
I
was a
just
bad
thinking
idea.
upstairs, I was like, why would you arrange a podcast at 4:30
After a school day, yeah.
with all the children with one nanny?
You know what? This was a social experiment
Yeah.
that failed.
Okay,
this was a
I was like,
massive,
why did this happen?
Yeah, I think
Anyways.
our guests are
we had to work
are
around
very
the schedule. That's why
and they're
also.
very understanding.
Yes.
They have not even flinched.
No,
It's
like there has been some.
there's been some screaming.
Yeah.
And they have been cool, calm, and collected. We were just chatting as if kids were not screaming in the background.
Good. Well, let's keep it like that.
Yes. So thank you to Tamar and Stav for being on our podcast today.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, we're really happy to be here.
We're so grateful you guys made the time to chat with us. I think it's a really important conversation. You guys are from Israel and you are here. Is it here on a shin or you're here as shin?
I know. I literally, if that's not the sound bite or whatever for that,
I was prepping myself to say this properly, and I feel
I
like
was surprised you didn't say Shein, honestly.
okay. So you are basically here as shin on a semester abroad from Israel here to work within the community.
We're here for a year. Shinshin is basically translates into a year of service. So we just finished high school and we're here for to defer our army service in a year and help communities all around the world.
Sorry, you're here before you do
Before the army,
So
yeah.
next year, you guys are both going to go to the army.
Exactly.
Holy shit. No, I know that that's how it works. We all know that's how it works.
Well,
But
we
to be-
actually don't.
Okay,
We know, but I don't
we
think our
know.
listeners probably know how it
so
works.
you tell us how it works,
Yeah.
ladies. Just in terms of people, I don't think understand that.
Okay, so basically, when you finish high school, when you're 18, you get drafted into the Israeli army, and you have a choice to defer your service in a year. You can do gap year in Israel, which is there's a lot of different things. You can volunteer in different things. You can study. You can do a lot of things for a year, and there's the option that we chose, which is deferring for a year and going abroad to connect to Jewish communities abroad.
That's the vibe. Why wouldn't you do that? That's what I did. Not Jew. No, I didn't do it. I mean, I did birthright, but
You did a semester abroad.
I did it several times, and I lived with a family, but it was a very different experience. Yeah.
So you guys are here, you're living with families, and you're in the community working at Jewish day schools, at synagogues.
It obviously has to be Jewish focused. You can't be I want to go and work at a bar. Could you?
Yeah, no. You get.
I'm just wondering, restrictions here.
No, so you get assigned. First of all,
Birthright
we can't
just
go.
have to
We
be
can't
Jewish.
get into
so
bars.
I'm just giving you the we get to go just for being Jews to your country. It is basically to go to a bar and I mean, obviously, we
Yeah,
don't have too
birthright,
much
it's
stuff,
a
but-
whole big party.
Exactly.
But here it's
that's
not
what
like
you
that.
had to be Jewish. So what do you have to do?
Yeah, so we get assigned certain institutions like schools, synagogues, youth movements, all kinds of things,
Very
all kinds
cool.
of Jewish things all over Toronto.
Right?
So you're here, you're doing community work, you're living with another Jewish family, and your experience here, obviously, you've been here since August in
Yeah.
terms of the Jewish community and how you guys have sort of integrated in.
Well, why Toronto, first of all? You guys could have picked anywhere to go in the world.
First of all, it's the best community.
Shout out
That's for
to the
sure.
Toronto Jewish
Okay,
community.
but you know that now. Why did you choose this before? What was your intel to be let's go? First of all, how'd you guys hook up? What's the story? How'd you end up here?
It's all sorted by the Jewish Agency for Israel. We have two main stations that we go through in the process of coming for a year abroad, like a gap year.
Okay.
So the first one is Israel deciding to send us as a shlichim
Yeah.
to do that. And then they decide which vibe community is best for us. And Toronto gets first pick because they are the best community. I'm not kidding.
my
No,
God.
true story. They actually get the first pick because
What's
they're better.
ranking?
I was going to
What's
say
number two?
what made and I was also going to say
Um,
what makes it such a why does everybody want Toronto?
First of all, it's huge. It's a huge
Okay,
community.
yeah.
But no, it's a very connected community. They do a lot of things for Israel. So it's a really important connection between Israel and Toronto.
Ever since I got into this program, I've been seeing like all over Israel. Thank you, Canadian Jewish. Thank you, Toronto Jewish community. Thank you, everyone, everywhere in
that's
Israel. It's
nice to
amazing to see
hear.
that.
That's incredible.
That's like the good news that we need.
Yeah, that's the good news that we need.
That's amazing. Okay, so hold on. I got to get back to this army thing, okay, before we go
Yeah.
into the. So you guys are 18 and this is your gap year and you're here to do good services. So you're here teaching in these schools Hebrew or just kind of general knowledge about Israel. Like, what are you guys doing in these institutions?
We're here to bring like the Israeli vibe for the most part.
You're bringing Israeli vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our job description.
Yeah.
I think it was us today when we were talking about.
It's like the Israeli
girl.
Spirit Committee.
Yeah, 2 months ago when we came here, we asked
wanna
them,
join.
so like, what are we doing exactly?
Yeah.
And everyone just like said, bring the Israeli vibe,
Yeah.
be yourselves, be Israel.
So I mean, it obviously like changes between like the schools you go
Institution,
to,
right.
or,
Exactly.
but
Okay,
all
but
in all,
like,
that's
let's say
important.
at a young Jewish day school here, what would you be doing? Because one of you is doing that, right?
Yeah, so we go into we'll go into classes and
Yeah.
we'll have like a shin class.
Okay.
Exactly.
And it's basically like it's mostly up to us, but it's like bringing whatever we love about Israel, telling them like our experiences with
Culture
Israel, the
stuff.
culture,
Exactly.
the
Okay.
music,
I
the
love
food,
that.
whatever we want is.
So
yeah.
you kind of have like carte blanche to be like, I'm representing Israel right now.
Yeah.
And this is what we're going to
Yeah.
talk about. So I have a question then.
for
our-
they did.
I'm learning too. I didn't
had
know.
no idea.
So okay, for our listeners, whether they're Jewish or not, I'm sure many have not been to Israel. When you say you are bringing the Israeli vibe, what is that vibe?
question.
Let's paint a picture for the people listening how incredible Israel and the Israeli people
And the
are and
life-
what they're all about.
And your life there, but like your life there, which you're going back to in what, 6 months, whatever. When it,
10 months.
Yeah, 10 months.
We're here for a year.
You're new to the
Yeah.
game. Okay, because we're just starting this. Okay.
Yeah,
So this is
exactly.
obviously.
So share this vibe. Share the vibe.
So first of all, it's the most like warm people you will ever meet. The place is incredible. You can go. Stav and I live really like far from each other. Consider Israeli.
Where
Yeah,
in
it is
Israel do
really
you guys
true.
live?
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing?
I live in
exact location. I just
I live in a small moshav, more to the south
Wait,
of
one more time.
A small moshav, more to the south of Israel, near Ashdod.
What's a moshav?
Moshav, it's like
It's like a small, like a really small town.
yeah, we have
Like
a
very
1,000 families.
rural.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
very rural. Like okay, like not a kibbutz.
It's a bit
it's
bigger than.
Kind of like a kibbutz, but not exactly. But it's the same like
Very
environment.
community vibe. Okay,
Yeah. Very
so you
community
have like a lot
vibes.
of people living in like communal areas.
I live with my family,
You do,
and
okay.
all of our neighbors are friends, and they are amazing. And from my backyard, you can see like vines and trees and everything because we're very like agriculture moshav.
Amazing.
We have a lot of farmers. It's like the thing in our moshav.
Right.
And I spent 3 years in a boarding school at Jerusalem just now.
Okay.
My high school years were in a boarding school. And Jerusalem in general, it's the best place to go to Israel, in my opinion. It has its own charm of like coexistence with everyone. You can see Arabs, more religious people or less religious people, all like being together, and it's amazing.
Aw.
Yeah, for sure. So I totally agree with everything Tamar said. I live in an ishuv, which is like a little bigger than a moshav, but also like very communal and very warm. And like I live like next to Kfar Saba, Ra'anana, that area. That's the Sharon district of Israel. I love it's like everything is so communal. Wherever you go,
So cool.
you feel like you're being hugged. Like you feel like you know everybody. Like even here when we're abroad and
Yeah.
we will meet Israeli people, it's still like you feel so comfortable. You feel so free. It's all so warm and everyone cares so much about each other. And it's like amazing because it's one huge place that everyone is friends. Like everyone is brothers. Like
Yeah.
That's
And
incredible.
literally everyone is brothers. You can go to like any place you want, Spain, Italy, wherever in the world. And if you hear Hebrew, you probably have someone in common with that person.
yeah, for sure. It's like Jewish geography.
Yeah,
So
for
you
sure.
can find that
But on a
everywhere.
different level.
And it's like exactly it's on a different level because everyone has someone like if you're both from Israel, you definitely have connections.
And I think that that's just like, honestly, it's innate. It is something innate amongst, for whatever reason, why we could go into 1,000 reasons of being like this, but it really is. There is never not something, no matter who is Jewish out there, no matter what their beliefs are, there is just like this common ground and understanding and mutual respect. It's just really interesting to hear how we live such different lives and how religion and being Jewish plays so much part into your life, but it's not even about the religion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's this thing about like just wanting to innately be around other people, give back to other people. And it's nothing to do with the fact, like your neighbors, okay? Do you guys live in a mostly Jewish, like it sounds like the community that you're on is Jewish, is
Yeah.
mostly Jews. But in terms of being segregated and like, just talk to us a little bit about your day-to-day there, having other religions around you, what that's like. Like, it's so interesting to hear everything on the news and wonder if life is so just, it feels like the way it's presented could be so segregated or so like this. And it just, I don't think, and I know from my experiences there, but that's not the reality. And this is just, it's so hard when it's just presented so differently.
So where I'm from, in general, it's mostly Jews. Basically, like almost everyone are Jewish. But in Jerusalem, that's when I really got to experience the coexistence. I used
Okay.
to work at the hospital over there.
Okay.
Throughout like my high school years.
Okay.
And one of my best friends there was Arabic.
Yeah.
And just like no one gives a shit about that. It's like it's all of us are just like together, and it's not mainly Jewish. It's just we're Israeli and we're all together and we're all like sharing the same place and living in the same place.
That
and
is
that's
what's
the
first,
whole
is
thing.
how you feel
Yeah.
about it. You're Israeli. You're
Mhm.
Israeli
It's
Jewish.
It's
It's
cultural. I feel like
Exactly.
it is so cultural. It's like
That's
to your
interesting.
point.
That's what you identify as Jews, being the proudest people in the world to live there. But
Yes.
you identify first as Israeli, not by religion.
And that's why we're here. We're here to bring the Israeli vibe. We have Jewish communities all around the world, and they are amazing. But the strongest thing we have, in my opinion, is our love for Israel and for each other. Just like no matter where you are.
Okay, so I think maybe it's important for us to talk a little bit about what's happened. And I just want to preface it by saying we spoke a bit at the beginning. Your families are good, they're safe, but you know people obviously who have been affected by it. It's horrendous what has happened and what's currently happening. And I'm sure to be so far away from your families has not been easy. And maybe, you know, you can share one or both if you have a story, you know, about what has happened and how it's affected you. I think it would be helpful to share with our listeners.
So yeah. Basically, when we first found out, it's a really weird state to be in. Like, not physically the state, but like
Yeah.
it's a really weird place to like be in mentally when you're so far away and there's a lot going on in our country and way more than we're used to. And like I thought, like we want to share a bit like how we first got the news
Yeah.
at all.
Mhm.
So for me, like I didn't know till Saturday morning when I went to work at my institution, and then my partner for work, we work pairs. My partner for work sits down and he says, "Okay, do you want to hear the bad news or the bad news?" Like, well, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And he says, "Listen, there's some stuff going on in Israel. I don't really know a lot. I just heard there's some stuff going on. A lot of, red alerts, which is like when missiles are being fired.
Yeah.
And like a lot of things are happening. There are people kidnapped, like these crazy things." And I was like shocked. What do you mean? What? It's like usually when you're in Israel, you know about everything immediately. You're like sitting with your family and then you get the red alert. And
Right.
even then it's like it's not that stressful because that just happens every once in a while. And it was really confusing, but we were like, okay, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
We started like doing whatever we were doing at our institution. We started working, and then our leader from the UJA, from the federation, or that if you need, the federation. So she suddenly came to our institution, and that's not something regular because like usually we see her once a week. And she came to tell us like, listen, something serious is going on. You can't work today. We want you to stay at home, talk to your families, like understand what's going on because it's not the usual thing. And it was just such a shock because you're so used to feeling it around you and like you're so used to knowing exactly what's going on that suddenly you get it through like
A third party
party.
Yeah,
that
third
has no
party.
idea, like in terms of,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's just such a security knowing where the intel's coming from in Israel, how you're
Exactly.
getting it. It's like when you see an Amber Alert here, it's like there's just security things that you understand happen and you understand the gravity of them, which is completely different when you're in a different country and you are hearing
exactly.
this crazy intel from your boss's boss. That is like, you know what I mean?
Well,
It's
and I think probably what people don't understand too, as well with Israel, is that, like, to your point, Stav, sirens going off is a normal part of life,
Yes.
right? Like having
Normal in Israeli terms. It's
so-
obviously like not. No, like I don't mean in a bad way. It's
no,
just
it's
like
true. It's what your normal
we realize our reality is not like
yes,
a day-to-day normal thing. Like we're talking here to Canadians that have never heard missile alerts, and they're like, you're used to this, you're not surprised.
It's culture.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
just a
it's-
different
it's
culture.
it's part of what you
Crazy.
grew up
Yeah.
with, right? And most homes also have like safe rooms or
They all have like shelters.
exactly. So that's like and someone was telling like most of the new apartments, like every
Yeah.
apartment building, they have
And you
safe
just
houses,
have
safe-
like on the street next to parks or anything, you have a place to go, like
you have
bomb
a shelter.
shelters
You have bomb
everywhere.
shelters. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that is a part of life. So this was obviously like
So it was so weird seeing it from like a zoom out kind of vibe.
yeah.
Like suddenly all these alerts about everything going on. And I'm like, when?
So what did you do? You get that news. You guys go and you call your families. Where and your families, both of your families are there, right?
Yeah, both
Yeah.
of our families are all in Israel. And first
And
thing we did,
whereabouts, just to give some context.
yeah, so
here.
I live in a pretty central area.
yeah.
Which was why I was like, I was stressed for the situation, but
Yes.
I was guessing like it's more down south what's going
Yeah,
on.
it's okay.
So I didn't think like something crazy was going on, and like I started getting stressed when this week like we had a missile alert because
Yeah.
it was coming all the way to us, which is really weird because we live in a central area.
Right. So you can see missile alerts if they're obviously localized to certain areas, but you get a different warning if it's coming closer to you.
Yeah,
Is
you
that-
get
it's
like the sound.
geo-targeted.
Yeah.
So it's a different sound if it's in with how many meters of you or
No,
something.
so you
How
only
does it work?
only hear it if it's like around your area. I'm not sure how many like kilometers it is. Like that.
You actually hear a sound.
Yeah, you hear like an actual like.
It's the most terrifying
alert.
sound
It's-
ever.
It's like,
Yeah.
No, it's like that seems
And
like
every kid, ever since you're born, knows this
Yeah,
sound
you
and
know the
knows you need to
sound.
run away when you hear this.
yeah, you were saying where you live and what's going on. So you weren't as concerned about the general safety of your direct family. However,
Yeah, but
was still-
I do have a lot of friends that are already in
course.
the army and are serving down south, right next to the border. And I do have like friends, sisters or my sister's friends that are like
oh, you're deeply
that
connected.
were in the that like everyone knows someone.
Yeah.
At the music festival.
At the music
Yeah.
festival, I know a few. So it's really it's like suddenly you're like spiraling. Okay, who do I know and what's
Yeah.
going on and like who do I talk to? It's such a weird feeling.
Right. You're
and-
like everyone on, like, you don't know where people are.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I called up my family. I got like in touch with anyone I know that might be in danger. And it's actually it's really funny because I texted one of my friends that he's in the army and he's in like the combat units. And I'm like texting him, "Are you okay? Are you there?" And he texts me back like after like 2 days, like, "What do you mean? I'm fine." I'm like, he's so chill. He's so like, "What do you mean? What are you even worried about? How's Canada?" And I'm like, "Why are you asking me how's Canada? You're in the south of Israel right now. You're like shots are being fired. What do you mean? How's Canada?
Oh my
How
God.
are you?"
He's giving you that Israeli
Yeah.
spirit.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
were-
But,
yeah,
like,
let's
we're
talk about that
good. We're-
Israeli
we're
vibe.
vibing,
Yeah.
like-
Yeah. The IDF is a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
For sure. So that was my experience, but also Tamar has.
So I live more to the south of Israel. I'm less than 40 kilometers from Gaza. So for me, it's very normal. Like once a year, I knew when I came here, then once a year, at least, we have missiles and we have red alerts like all the time.
Yeah.
So I was just playing card games on a normal Friday night with my friends. And then I get a notification on my phone that says like missiles where I live. And I called up my family 6:30 a.m. on Shabbat. And my mom answers the phone like, "What do you want? Why are you calling me?" Because I called like 5 times. And I like, "Mom, why aren't you at the bomb shelter?" And apparently they couldn't hear the alarms. There was a bug or something. So there were alarms where I live and they couldn't hear them for like the whole day. We had like 40 alarms where I live. For like, I don't know,
You think it was cut?
2 hours?
It was something, it was just,
No idea. Actually, no idea.
oh,
And
but that's
then
really weird.
I
No?
spent, yeah, it's very,
It's an odd
very,
thing to
it's
happen.
unusual. It's very unusual. And then I
So
spent
were you
like,
the warning call to your mom to get into a bomb
Yeah.
shelter?
Yeah, I
Holy
did.
shit.
and then she
Uncannon
woke
on
up
your phone.
Mhm.
Get into the shelter. I see my Wi-Fi is better than whatever.
And the second, like, she answers the phone and asks, like, why am I calling? I hear the loudest boom sound I've ever heard on FaceTime. It was, and then she got out of bed, took my brother and my sister, and went straight to the bomb shelter. And then they don't have any signal over there, so I couldn't hear from them until the booms were over. And I stayed up on this Friday until like 5 a.m. trying to figure out what's happening, and no one knows what's happening. And then I went to bed, and I got up and got the message that my neighbor was murdered. He was at the party.
Your neighbor was...
My neighbor was killed.
He was at the music festival.
Yeah, he was at the music festival. And just like every day since then, I get up to a message that someone else is dead. And one of my friends from boarding school was fighting in Gaza, and he was missing for 3 days. And the day of the rally here in Toronto, an hour before we got there, I got the notification that he's dead.
I'm so sorry for your losses.
It's just been really hard.
Like that's what you're waking up to
every day
every
news
day,
of someone.
another person you know that you love about dying.
Yeah. Some of them just like unfortunate events, and some died fighting for my country and for us to be there and for the lives of other people. And it's just like so surreal to even be in this situation. And I didn't go to the funerals. I was on FaceTime on the funeral yesterday. It was so strange.
Yeah.
Well, I think to just like to still be doing what you're doing, like you guys came in here and you're like, we still have a message, we still have support, like with all the loss and all the brutality that's happened over the past week. I think one of the things that we talked about was the strength of our community and like how we are able to come together in such a horrific time and like support and have this kind of solidarity to just be there for one another, be there for the people of Israel, be there for the families who are dealing with this.
As much as we would love to be in Israel right now with our family and all of our loved ones, our message here and like our place here is much more important, more than ever. And we feel that every day we've been here. We see the sad faces of everyone that knows we're from Israel, like at our institutions where we work, and everyone keeps asking like, how are you? How's your family? Are you okay? And no, we're not okay.
Yeah.
No one of us is okay.
No. Like, how could anyone be okay? But it's like people don't even know what else to say because it's just like they want to ask, but the answer is always going to be right
Not
now.
okay.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious to your point. You were like, as you were about to say, like, as much as we want to be with our family, the fact that you are here and able to bring the Israeli vibe, support the community, like how has that been maybe helpful and healing in a way to you guys to be here?
So I definitely think, like, obviously the first few days were hard on a lot of us. Everyone deals differently, but for me it was really hard to go back and be the giddy Israeli that's like talking about how Israel's awesome, and the only thing I'm thinking is checking my notifications to make sure I didn't get
checked out.
Yeah. But it's definitely like amazing to see the support. That's first of all, like seeing how everyone is like cares so much about Israel, like just for being Jewish, and like that's first and foremost amazing. And also we do get a lot of our opportunities to help. We went to pack packages to Israel. We went to the rally, which was amazing. So it is amazing to see all that support and to understand we have so much support abroad. And it also gives us, like, after the first few days, which were hard, we really want to give a message wherever we're going. So we brought it into our institutions, we brought it into where we work, we brought it by doing whatever we can, by going on social media, by showing like everyone who knows us that we're Israeli and what is going on and why they should know what's going on. Like, we have a lot to give here. We have a lot to give here that will give us back. Like that will get people engaged in Israel and like and care. And it's amazing to see like the outcome of it because it's immediate. Like we were talking before about how Toronto's Jewish community raised $50 million for Israel. And that's excluding like all the packages are being sent nonstop. Like for like a whole week, there have been like people packing packages and sending them on planes full of everything. Like there was a room of socks, just socks. So
Incredible.
it's
And
incredible.
It's just been a week and a half, and the support and help is we cannot comprehend everything that's been going on, and we're so thankful. And we can see like the people in Israel, they got the message. People keep like writing letters, small kids or everyone just keep writing letters and giving so much back to Israel and helping during this very hard time. And it's just been amazing to see all of this.
Also, I have just like one cute note. If we're talking about this, the kids are making a lot of notes for soldiers, and they were being packed. And like I saw like a note from a kid like saying, "Thank you for defending the country. And when I grow up, I want to be a soldier." And it's just so adorable. Like
It's the sweetest
even knowing the
thing.
least, like they're kids. I'm sure they don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
But
they're
even
like, you're gonna have to be one regardless, son.
I don't think when
Okay,
you
let's-
understand, like when you understand, I don't know how much like you're gonna be a
Yeah.
soldier, but but it's so
No,
cute.
that's
Like
the
everyone's
sweetest thing. Like they look up to that. They look up to
amazing.
representing and being proud and having pride in what they believe in. And that's like really special. And I think being here, you guys are, for whatever reason, at this time, at this place, for you guys to be here in Toronto, it's special. It is. And you guys do have a very big job, but it is a very important but rewarding job. And I feel like thank you for even just coming on and being vulnerable and open in such like a hard time.
So I think the final question, the final takeaway, let's like, we want to leave this on a positive high note. Whether you're in the Jewish community or not in the Jewish community, what can people do? How can they help? How can they give back? What can they do?
Or what's your just even message? Sometimes there's not even a call to. It's like you can give all the money in the world, and
I'm
it's
not
like,
even saying I'm not even saying donate. I'm just saying
Then
like what
what-
can people do?
I
Like
think the biggest like ask we have
yeah.
is educate yourself and learn about what's going on in Israel and the horrific story that's been going on, and just like raise awareness and try to be aware of what's going on.
Yeah, and also like first of all, just to like end on a positive note, we've been amazed to see not only here but also in Israel itself, while it's under attack, has just gotten closer together. It's amazing to see. Every single post on my Instagram feed is like how people are helping and where they're going to volunteer, and everyone's donating blood until there's no room in the blood bank. And like
I want to see more of that in my feed. I'm gonna follow you and then follow all my
Follow
feed is like
everyone.
so horrible. I can't even go on social media. And like you were saying, like everyone was forced to encouraged to delete their social accounts.
Mhm.
Like for little kids, we had this conversation they to be doing. Like that's great. Like that is, good or bad or whatever. Like it is such a mainstream of communication and how people are getting this intel. So back to your point, really realize where you're getting your information from and what's
For sure.
factual and what's not. And don't be posting things that aren't based in facts because that's just how things get worse.
For sure. So fake news is definitely like a thing. You should really notice what you're watching, what you're seeing. A lot of things online right now are fake news, and it's not easy to stay away from it. And you do need to make sure that you're educating yourself from a reliable source.
What are some reliable sources, would you say? That you guys know that are legit, just good to, because everyone has biases there. Like I always turn on CNN to get my information. It's just on the background at all times for me to get my updates. But I want to, hello, Xander.
what are some reliable sources for you guys?
If it's on social media, I the only one I can actually recommend that I know is reliable would be Stand With Us or those kinds of Instagram pages that are Jewish organizations. They post exactly what's going on, although that is seeing a lot of negative stuff because it's talking about what's going on in Israel, and that's not easy.
There's a newspaper online called the Times of Israel or the Israel Times, something like that. And they have a whole page every day for good thing that's been going on.
I love
That's amazing.
that.
I didn't know that.
Just
either. That's
heroic
amazing.
stories or volunteering works, everything that Stav just said, the good things that are going on.
And also, I wanted to add, to go back to the point of what people can do here. It starts there's the biggest things that you can do, which is donating money, things, packing packages, whatever you can, which is obviously amazing. But more than that, even in the little things, it's to be if you're Jewish, then be proud of your Jewish identity. Talk to people about it. Like Tamar said, educate yourself on what's going on. Like actually take a stand and like stand with Israel. And not even that, just keep the morale high. Because if in Israel, like I was telling about my friend, they manage to keep their morale high when they're standing on the border.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that too, and it's
Love
amazing.
that
Like
story.
keeping your vibe happy and staying strong. Like it's really important because what they try to do in like what people try to do in these attacks is put us down and make us scared, and it's
Live in fear.
Live in
which
fear.
people are doing, and you feel it all over the world. You guys must see with these institutions. Like, no one sent their kids to school on Friday.
yeah.
Anyways,
I think that's a really good message to leave off of. Just like high vibrations, positive, keep the morale up, and help where you can, educate yourself.
and be proud.
And be
There's
proud.
something to be proud of
Exactly.
here. Like,
Yeah.
like I am so proud to be Jewish. Like the way the community has come together, it makes me want to do more. Everyone needs more of that.
Yeah.
Israeli. What are we calling you guys? The Israeli
Team.
vibe.
Israeli spirit,
Israeli
spirit crew.
Yeah.
Honestly, thank you guys so much for being here, for sharing your stories, for being vulnerable, for educating our listeners. Like, we really appreciate you. And like we said, I think you were meant to be here on a mission this year. And it's so important. And we're so proud. And
Keep us in the loop. We'd love to do stuff with you guys and follow along on your journeys here and just anything. You're here for the year. Like it's so much fun, Toronto. So we're happy to have you guys and host you guys. And
Laney's going to take you to a bar.
I'm really taking you guys and I'm getting you guys fake IDs. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go, girls. Anyways, you guys are the best. Thank you for sharing. We
Thank you.
really
Thank you so much for
appreciate
having
it.
us.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.